Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicolelli along with Samantha Perry. It is a sort of overcast day here, Sam, in South Florida today, but we got a fast-made track, firm turf course, and we got the all-weather Tapeta. That's right. We are back on the turf this afternoon.
Yes, it's exciting. Some good races on the turf today.
Yeah, we got some good ones, and we have about we have about 22,000 in the early pick 5 pool just to kick off the morning, and we got the Rainbow Six, which starts in race number 4 today, and we got that $50,000 gross jackpot guarantee. That's races 4 through 9. A little later on, Sam, next race we'll have an early pick 4 ticket for you, and we're going to start it off in here. I guess a mile and a 16th on the turf. Claimers 3, 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or a race since June 17th, $35,000. Scratch the number 9. Do we have Brian's early pick 5 ticket to show here, or are we just going? Yeah, there it is. $36. That's the biggest one Brian's had in a while.
Yeah, it is.
So he's got. We'll talk about this first race. He's got. Let's see who his single is in race number 3. It's the 2 Emperor's Appeal. In race number 4, he's got some coverage. I like the 3 horse he's using. That's Canthare. And in the 5th, lots of coverage, and that one overlaps with the late pick 5, of course, and the Rainbow Six, which kicks off in race number 4. So very affordable, $36 ticket today. And now the first race. Who'd you go with?
I went with the number 4, Kelly Breen and Paco Lopez, a very dangerous team whenever they are together. They had a very successful Monmouth summer meet. Now, this horse was up in New York over the summertime. I like the fact that this horse is stretching back out again. That five and a half furlong turf sprint was just a little too short for this horse. Now he does seem like he's going to be the controlling speed of this race, and hopefully he can take him wire to wire.
Yeah, I mean, last on the turf, the speed was always good on the turf. So I got my long shot. I'm starting to ride off 20-1 on the morning line, down to 7-1 right now. And I'll tell you, that's the one quiet out east, who's now in the Timmy Hills barn. This gelding cuts back to this 8.5 furlong distance. He went up, he set the pace, he weakened late to finish. I thought a solid 5th against entry-level allowance runners going 11 furlongs or a mile 3/8 on the Aqueduct turf. Edwin Gonzalez, 4-time turf winner. I'm looking for a price right away, taking some early money at the 4 for all the reasons you mentioned, strictly the one to beat. And then you got the number 8 in here, and that's Cartano.
Yeah, the number 8 is Safi Joseph and Edgar Zayas, another very dangerous pair. I like that they're back to basics with this horse. They're just, he broke his maiden for $25,000. Now he's in for the claiming price of $35,000. He was off kind of poorly in that last start, and if he gets a better break this time, he should be right there.
Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon, and this one's going to be about 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. It's a starter. Optional claimer, Philly's 2-year-old started for 16 or less, or the optional tag of $16,000. Did have a scratch of the 5 Prussian Blue, and Sam has got an early pick 4 ticket she wants to talk about right now.
Yes, I do, and it is a very small ticket here. I'm starting out with a single in this race. In race number 3, I'm taking the single as well, and I believe Brian has that on his pick 5 ticket as the single. Very dangerous colt coming from the Brian Lynch barn. And then a little bit more coverage in races 4 and 5. Just have a sprint on the turf and then a mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. A little bit of less of an opinion in the 5th race here.
Now we'll see how that plays out. Very affordable. She's taking the lessons from Brian with these $3, $4 tickets in here. I agree, and I guess everybody probably will when we go to the second race on Conceptus, who's dropping to the $16,000 level, optional claimer, and followed that 25 maiden win at the distance, went up duel for the lead, finished 4th against 35 starter optional claimers. Gustavo Delgado reunites this daughter of Sharp Azteca with Sonny Leon.
Yeah, and he won aboard this horse last time, so I like that he's getting back aboard her here. Now, the number 2, though, Ronnie, and you and I, we've got the exacta here. The more that I look at her, the more that she could really be a threat. Now, I know she is facing winners for the first time here, but Mark Cassie, he's dangerous with bringing him right back to this level.
With that said, let's show his stat with Mark Cassie. Maiden winner last time out on the Tapeta right here at Gulfstream Park. Small sample, but good. 3 for 14, 21%, 43% in the money. 114 is return of investment. Luca Panici will be riding today. So I think those are the logical two in this race.
Yes.
And both you and Brian are single in that horse, so certainly going to be a big price.
Yeah.
Looks like he's taking all the money in the early double, too. Race number 3 this afternoon is a 1-mile maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. No scratches, no jockey changes. Once again, this is another one of your singles here. And this is Emperor's Appeal, and I think you got to work that. You want to show.
I do, yes. This was a work up at Palm Meadows here, and he is on the inside. Now, the outside horse, Static Fire, that he's working with, this horse ran 4th in the Coronation Cup at Saratoga, has 2 wins already. Now, we see him on the inside here, the darker bay horse, and he's moving along just very nicely with his workmate here. Now, this is already an experienced horse, and he's earning his keep. Now, the Melanie, who's on the outside, she kind of pushed Static Fire a little bit more to gallop out, but I do like the fact that Emperor's Appeal just hung on right with that work. A horrible trip in that Churchill debut, and I think that this is a very solid start back for this horse and draws the 2-hole, which is a very good spot. Last time he was strung all the way out in the 11 out of 12 at Churchill.
Yeah, you're right about that great debut. You know, eventful debut, which he broke slow, and then he had a rally between horses. Got a stat on Brian Lynch here with his 2-year-olds. Second-time starters on the dirt. He's 6 for 33, 18%, 33% in the money. 256 is the return investment. So positive numbers on this horse. I went to the inside with my second pick. That's the one, Silver and Black, who's returning from the left, and so did you. Yeah. Trying the one-turn mile after showing promise in both sprints before going to the sidelines in October. It's Saffie Joseph Jr., 23% with horses. He's got his go-to rider, Edgar Zayas, inside post today.
Yeah, the inside post maybe drew me a little bit more towards the number 2 in this spot here, but I think that I like the little bit of a freshening up they've given this horse. He was still a little bit green trying to figure things out in his second race, so third time could be a charm.
Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be race number 4, and I will have my Rainbow 6 ticket to show you.
All for one.
Oh, baby, baby, come on. Oh, baby, baby, come on. Oh, baby.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Samantha. We are looking at our Friday card here, and at race number 4 is when the Rainbow 6 is going to kick in. So let's quickly go to my ticket here of $32.40. We will talk about this 4th race in a moment. In race number 5, I went with the 4 Krypton, Black Seal, and the 7 No Man Left Behind. Who picks up the mount? Jose Ortiz, who won 4 yesterday. In race number 6 today, just too deep. I like War Strategy, and I use Valiant Avenger in there. In race number 7, 3 deep in there. Top pick is Prince of Iron. As my single today, Irony, a daughter of Brethren and a full sister to a horse that won 4 for 9 on the Turk. Taking a little bit of a shot in there in our feature race of the afternoon. And then the last got some coverage with the 3, 6, and 9. My top pick is the 3 Amazing Trip, Jose D'Angelo, Edgar Zayas.
A very solid ticket here, too, Ron.
Yeah, $32.40. And this one, of course, 3-year-olds up there sprinting on the turf this afternoon. And we both went with the 3 Canthari. This one is a $575,000 Kentucky-bred son of Cantharos. Why did I say? Cantharos started its campaign as a sire here in Florida. They took him to Kentucky. Now you're starting to see these horses. They jumped in and paid a lot of money for this horse.
They did.
Half-mile bullet up at Palm Beach Downs.
Yeah, and, you know, you can read in what you will with these works. As far as my handicapping goes, Ron, if I don't see the work, we show them on XBTV. There's a lot of them there, but you know, it's kind of hard to tell, like, when they look good on paper. When you see it with your own eyes, it's better to get a good read. But at the OBS March sale in 2021, this horse worked 20-2. It was a very solid work that day. I understand the $575,000 price tag, but this horse is almost 4 years old now, and we still haven't seen him start. So you kind of wonder with that. It could make him vulnerable. That being said, I still think he's good enough to beat these horses, but could make him vulnerable here.
The number 4 Cajun Puzzlers, where you went second, and this one from Mike Yates came off a long layoff and ran an okay 5th against those 40 maiden optional claimers, albeit on the Tapeta.
And it's Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle here. So, and this is a combination that doesn't team up a whole lot, and I think this might be a little too tough for this gelding. but given this field, it's not the strongest type of maiden special weight, and I think maybe he's got a shot.
The number 2, Alan Diggs. This one now in the Bill Thoreno's barn. Debuts locally. Showed speed going 6 and 7 furlongs up at Woodbine on their turf course. The barn is 23% with their turf sprinters. And they got the man in there, Paco Lopez, atop the son of Cairo Prince.
And they have gelded him since then. But looking back at his race replays, Ron, my biggest concern with him is he stops. And he stops like a horse that just might have some issues. And that kind of worries me going forward. I do like that he's been freshened up since then, so give him a time to just kind of recuperate and gelded. I like the first time gelding effort, but even more so, I like the second time gelding start.
Well, happy runner. I have on my ticket you didn't use, but you have a video you want to show of this horse.
Yes, and I want to show it because I do think that people are going to be betting this horse quite a bit here. Now, this is at Santa Anita Park. He is the 6th horse, Ramon Vasquez, in the irons here, making a very nice move on the outside. And you'll see what happens whenever he gets a little bit further down in the lane. So he begins lugging in, and you see Ramon Vasquez, the jockey, really trying to get after him. And it looks like he's got the ability, the horse has the ability to beat the eventual winner of this race, but he is too busy lugging in. I mean, that's a powerful lugging in there. And I bet Ramon's boot was scraping the paint there on the rail. And I think he might be his own worst enemy. I'm going to be interested to see if they do an equipment change on him, maybe a different type of bit. We'll check that out in the paddock here. But with that replay, that makes me think people are going to be betting him, and it's not going to be a good reflection of his talent.
Oh, there you go. That's great to show that. So let's go to race number 5 this afternoon. About a mile, 70 yards on the Torpedo. Claim is 3 and up. Nominals of 2 in life. 12-5 down to $10,000. Scratch the 2 horse in here, Red Hurricane. And the number 7 will be ridden by Jose Ortiz, who I mentioned we'll talk about in the lightning round. Had a really good day yesterday. You have your late pick 5 ticket you want to show.
I do indeed. Now, this race, I know the all button, we've had a conversation about that prior to the show, but this is a race that I think everybody's got a very solid chance. I'm singling in the 6th race with the number 10 War Strategy, and I know, Ron, you like that horse as well. Little more coverage in the 7th, and then in the 8th and the 9th, I just have very strong opinions. The New Jersey bred in race number 8, Riding Pretty, and then the Pete Walder horse in the 9th race to end things off. So this is a pick 5 ticket that this is my 50-cent price. I might play it for $1 today.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why not step up? And, we'll talk about that all button a little later on. I always tease her and Brian. That's all that's about. So getting back to this 5th race, I went with the 4 on top, Krypton, who's stepping up to face winners on the Tapiti Rally as the favorite to defeat 12-5 maidens, going 7 in the slop. You don't see Todd with a lot of 12-5 maidens, but I wanted to see a stat where how he did with horses going dirt to Peter at Gulfstream. He's 4 for 10, 40%. 70% in the money, 592. He doesn't do this an awful lot. Usually you don't see horses, with Todd doing this particular thing, but you knew the stat would be good.
Yeah, that's incredible, 70% in the money. I mean, any stat with Todd Pletcher is incredible, but this is really off the charts.
And who did you have on top in here? You went with the number 7, I believe?
I did indeed. No Man Left Behind. Like you mentioned, Jose Ortiz does get the mount here for wins yesterday. I like that this colt is getting back to his preferred distance here. He just really loves the 2 turns. They sprinted him the last 2, maybe just trying something different, switching it up a little bit, but I think these 2 turns is what he really wants and needs.
Good way to start the pick 5, the late pick 5 this afternoon. Let's go right to the 6. We're up a little against time, but not too bad. This one is going to be on the turf, and this one is a 1-mile starter optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, started for 25 or less, so the optional tag of 25,000. Going to scratch the number 8 Gypsy Kitten, but please note the number 11 Plenum is going to get in and run today. As we went on the air, it's still a jockey to be named, so TBA on the number 11. We'll let you know, or Pete will let you know in a couple of minutes for sure who'll be riding that horse in race number 6. And we got Brian's late pick 4 ticket here that we want to show you, and he's got $18. He's got the 2 in here and the 4. I used our 10. I like that.
Yes.
In race number 7, he's going with the 3 horse in that race. That's his single this afternoon. Let's see who that is. That is Bird Wildcat. And then he's got coverage in race number 8 and race number 9 for a very affordable $18 ticket. Getting back to race number 6, number 10 War Strategy. This is a gelded son of Super Turf Sire. I love War Fronts on on the grass. He was solid going a mile on the turf at Saratoga and Aqueduct. Goes back to the grass. Returned right here locally to finish that late closing third against those starter optional claimers, going 5.5 on the Tapeta. That was against the bias that we've seen here. It's Mark Cassie, Luis Saez, quarterback in the combo. Surface switch and stretch out. You know, I like this horse today.
Yeah, and I do too, Ron. And like you mentioned, he ran along for show, and it was just not enough ground for him. They were not running turf that at this particular time at Gulfstream Park. Now we are on the turf. He gets back to those 2 turns, and sometimes you just need to run a horse to keep them a little bit of their fitness up. Race fitness is so much different than work fitness in the morning, and it just puts a little extra into them. And Luis Saez gets the call here. I think this horse will be dangerous.
The number 4 Barrage is a New York-bred son of War Dancer by War Front, making his local return after dueling throughout, finishing third. He was beaten ahead against those New York State-bred 45 optional claimers, going 8.5 on the turf. Nicholas Palmer, Sonny Leone. I think this Palmer, the trainer, Sonny Leone, named to ride.
Yeah, and you know, as far as shipping from Aqueduct here to Gulfstream Park, as the meet goes on, we'll get to see those trends a little bit better. Of course, they are running the Belmont meet at the Aqueduct track. Now there's no more turf there, as winter is now there in New York. I think they already got snow. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out with them shipping over here. But this gelding has ran some pretty tough races, and that's a tough category, that state-bred allowance optional claimers here. And I think it's a little bit of a relief here today for him.
The number 1 Valiant Avenger quickly, who's run well on the Gulfstream Park turf in the past, going back to the lawn today, returned from the left, used his speed to defeat those 2 lifetime claimers going a mile 70. The sophomore has speed, the rail, and Edgar Zayas going for 2 in a row.
He does, and like you mentioned, he's done winning wiring the field, and he's done winning now sitting off of it. I think that Edgar Zayas will be able to get a good position with him out of the gate. Being in that one hole, you don't want to get shuffled too far back, but I think now he's got the maturity to be able to just relax a little bit more, maybe come running at the end.
Race number 7, 6 furlong claimers, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, 50 down 240. I like Prince of Iron this afternoon, who is knocking heads with some of the best local sprinters at this level before going to the sidelines in October. He returns to face these 52 lifetime foes, going 3/4. David Forks, I think, spots this gelding perfectly this afternoon.
He does, and obviously early in his career, something went amiss. He only had 3 starts, or 1 start in 2021 and then earlier this year. So they've taken his time with him, but it's paid off. He's been in the trifecta all 4 of the starts of his career. So I have him 4th today. That's the superfecta. I might be kicking myself, but I'm playing against the favorite.
Now, you have the 7 on top, and I want to know, did Brian pay you to pick this horse? Sainthood for Brian?
Oh, yeah. I wish, but no, he didn't. I'm not on Brian's payroll. But yeah, this Steve Klosaris horse will be tough in here. Irad Ortiz in the saddle here today. That's just a very big jockey switch here. With all these jockeys coming down from the New York circuit, I think that this horse will have a very good shot under him today.
I got to mention the number 2, One America. Now, the One America is in for the $40,000 tag, debuts locally for Claudio Gonzalez. 5 for the lead, gave away grudgingly when finishing 2nd against those 42 lifetime claimers, going 6 in the slop at Laurel. He's got his go-to jock, Jose Morelos. They're 26% together, and Claudio has just been doing a fantastic job all year long.
Yes.
Once he got set here. So one of those horses, 6-1 in the morning line. Maybe you throw it on the bottom of the tribe. What'd you see with the 3 Bird Wildcat?
The number 3 Bird Wildcat coming from the Ron Spatz barn. This is a horse that broke his maiden for the $50,000 level. He's back in for that here today after trying some pretty tough company in the Florida breds during the summertime and the fall here. I like the fact that he's going back to this $50,000 level, just kind of getting back to where he started.
Race number 8 this afternoon, 1 mile on the turf, allowance optional claim of fillies 2-year-olds. That optional tag is $75,000. Feature race this afternoon. I went, here's my single in the Rainbow Six, was the 3 Irony, who's a daughter of brethren, a full sister to a horse called Full Scraps, who was stakes place and 4 for 9 on the turf. Debuts on the grass after responding in the first race after the claim. I really respect Ron Spatz when he jumps in and grabs a horse. With a 2nd place finish, that was against 35 starter optional claimers, going a mile 70 yards on the Tapeta. I think she gets tested for class, but I love this angle, so I put this one on top.
And, this isn't a bad angle at all, Ron. And you're mentioning the family there. This filly's dam was impeccable on the grass. I mean, she ran incredible numbers on the grass course. This is almost a move from the Ron Spatz barn that they're spotting for races like this.
Well, I want to hear about your long shot and your number 4 Riding Pretty. I think you got a video you want to show.
Yes, so this is the New Jersey bred owned by Hollycrest Farms. Now we're going to watch the 2 out of the gate here. It was a terrible stumble, just right to her nose, had no shot at all. And this was a very tough race here. It was the sorority stakes, a very tough company in that race. She broke her maiden impressively. Now, it was an 8-horse field, and you can argue, yeah, Samantha, but it was New Jersey breds, and they're just not really classed up enough. But this Eddie Owens Jr. barn and the Hollycrest bred and owned horses, they've just been phenomenal. They had Great Navigator run 3rd up at Saratoga, was kind of on the trail for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile for a little bit and just tailed off, and that was a New Jersey bred. So I respect this barn a lot, and seeing this filly just try so hard in all of her outs at Monmouth, and those were not against easy company at all. I think that she breaks well here. Paco Lopez won on her. He knows what buttons to press with her. She could be extremely dangerous, and I just would not count her out here, especially if she's at a high price.
Yeah, 8-1 on the morning line. Tall Girl, the 6, is turning back to the mile after responding to the drop down from maiden special weight to maiden claiming with the $75,000 score, going 8.5 furlongs on the Aqueduct turf. For Christophe Clement, you got Arad Ortiz Jr. atop this order for Samurai. Quick stat with Christophe Clement, maiden winner last out on the turf at Gulfstream. He's 7 for 23, 30%, 52% in the money, and a big ROI of $4.84.
Those are great stats, and this is a nice filly, but note it took her 4 tries to finally break her maiden, and that was for $75,000. Now, I'm not saying that she's finally found her footing and she's kind of woken up some, but her 2 starts at Monmouth were not that impressive. Riding Pretty, the number 4, impressed me much more as a maiden breaker here. Tall Girl, she is a nice filly. 1 mile, though, that's a concern for me. She really comes running. She's got a nice long stride. I think she needs all the room she can get. But when the race comes up and the book is there and it's a mile, when they're ready, you have to run them. So she's a bet against for me as far as I think she'll be bet down to the favorite.
Race number 9, 7 furlong, claiming fillies 3 or 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, 12-5 down to 10. You went with the number 6, Queen Cupid, on top of your ticket for Peter Walder.
Yeah, and we saw this race very similar, just in different orders. But Queen Cupid, Pete Walder, just a very live barn, 29% win rate. And this horse has ran 2nd in 2 wins, his last 3 outs. I think this filly that's out of Cupid, or by Cupid, just is a very heart. She's got a lot of heart, and that's what I like about this filly a lot. And she is a single for me to end my pick 5.
And the number 3, Amazing Trip, we got our exacta flip-flop, wheeling back after notching her 3rd career victory when she held on to win at this level and distance. Talking about game, I thought that was a game performance. Jose D'Angelo, Edgar Zayas, named to ride. That is how we see the 9th race card. But we are not done right yet. We're going to go and check out our lightning round before we turn it over to Pete Aiello with all the scratches and jockey changes. And why not start it off with Jose Ortiz, who had that 4-win day. We'll show him winning the last of the 4. Wow, did this horse run well, open him. Look at the fractions this horse set.
Yeah, this horse was super impressive. He took the lead and never looked back, and that is the game plan with this horse. It's come and catch me, and they could not catch him yesterday.
Now we're going to look at the best bets and long shots this afternoon, and we'll see what we started off. Samantha, you got your best bet in this here? I don't know if they're showing yours or Brian's. No, yours. It's Queen Cupid, right? I like that 4-1, a good price on there.
Yep.
My best bet this afternoon is Irony at 5-1. That's in race number 8 for Ronnie Spatz. Now your long shot today, you made a great point with that horse, and that's in race number 8.
Yeah, Riding Pretty from the Eddie Owens Jr. barn. Hopefully she can get some class relief here today to put her in the winner's circle.
Yeah, and my long shot today is right in the first race at 20-1, currently up there at 8-1.
That's a long shot.
Yeah, that's a long. I'm going to see if I can get this one home this afternoon. Okay, our feature race on Saturday is going to be, one of the features, the co-race is going to be 2 miles on there, certainly not for the faint of heart. So we're going to go back. This was a great race. We're going to go back September 10th at Kentucky Downs. We'll tell you, there it is right there. And this horse, this was the Grade 2 Turf Cup, and this horse just ran exceptional. exceptionally well in this race, and that's another mystery. Now, this was not a mile and a half, but look who was in front. That was Red Knight, second consecutive stakes victory, and our old buddy Gufo. So that was a race. If this horse handles the mile and a half, he's absolutely the one to be.
Yeah, and it's a mile and a half at Kentucky Downs, but it feels like it's a 3-mile race. It's
Yeah.
a very taxing course, and so fitness is not a problem for this horse coming into the race.
And, you know, First is always trying to help out our bettors here. They offer free PPs for all the at all the first venues that you want to go to. It's easy for me to say, but yeah, free pass performance, you can't go wrong with that.
No, the more you know, so make sure you can download them now and see what we're seeing and make some bets.
And don't forget, each and every Friday, try and outpick Claudia. It's a great race. It's free. You got a chance to win $500, and that'll kick off. I think it's the last 5 races on the card. You go up to Silks. You can sign in. Chance to win $500.
Yeah, that's some nice Christmas money.
There you go. So that's us. We're going to turn it over to Pete Aiello with some scratches, changes, and we'll be back here throughout the afternoon trying to give you some useful insights. Good luck.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history and all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Donnie V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.